Have you ever wanted to be famous? Have you ever thought, that could have been me. I could have been great. I could have been fantastic, and I should have done this. But then you didn't, and you kind of settled, because you were good enough. Well, we all kind of do that. In fact, there's a reason why we do that. It's actually our hormones. You guys, we have all kinds of craziness going on in our body, and our hormones make us do crazy things, like compare and compete with people. Have you ever saw yourself and gone around and looked around and seen who was with you and kind of compared your stats with theirs? Have you ever noticed that men, you want the biggest, strongest, fastest, most powerful toy? And ladies, do we go into the grocery store and walk around and kind of do that little check on myself thing and see who's the prettiest and who has the best clothes and who has the best kids and who has the best everything or who has the worst and compare ourselves to them? It's not your fault. It's how we're made. But at the same time, is it fair to compete or compare yourself to anybody based on something none of us chose? I want you guys to think back. Yeah, that's me in high school. Oh, I'm so glad I'm a hairdresser. It was pretty special. No, I want you to think way back. Yeah, there. Do you remember when you were in your mom's belly? Don't you remember when you were sitting there and it was warm and cozy and you said, this is how tall I'm going to be, this is where my fat's going to go, this are going to be my talents, this is what color my skin's going to be, and this is who I'm going to be. And then you cried with joy when you were born. Do you guys remember doing that? Yeah, none of us did. Yet, have you ever based a comparison or competed against somebody based on something they didn't choose either? That's when I came up with my 4-step program. It's BeUtoFullness. Because we are all exactly differently the same. The first step of this program is be. And I really literally just learned this. This entire time you've been sitting here and waiting and excited to see all of us. How many of you asked your heart to beat? How many of you asked your lungs to breathe? How many of you thought to process your food or your blood? You didn't. That's because we are all exactly differently the same. When I had my ski accident, we were with my family and we went up to the ski mountain and I was going to be awesome. And we were on the bunny hill and I totally crashed. Not a little, like big. 7 breaks and my ACL popped up. My leg was like kind of decapitated. So there was nothing I can do. And because I'm a hairdresser, I was like, oh, I'm going to get 2 weeks of all kinds of TV and sitting down and being served and it'll be fabulous. And then it happened. I had my surgery. And 3 days later, after my surgery, I got extreme vertigo. Not the regular kind of vertigo that makes you dizzy, but extreme vertigo. And the reason I got such extreme vertigo was because I'm an epileptic. See, in 2007, I was supposed to have brain surgery to remove my seizures. The seizures that made people who love me worry about me. And coupled with my extreme vertigo, I was throwing up. I couldn't walk. I literally needed babysitters. I couldn't do anything for myself because my brain just would not stop spinning. And I begged and begged, please, can I just have control of my brain? Can I just see straight for 2 seconds? Then one morning it happened. I woke up and it was gone. And I thought, whoa, my world isn't spinning out of control anymore. I have control. This is great. So I took my crutches by myself, no babysitters, nobody carried me, to the couch because that's all that was expected of me. And that's when I realized how important it is that we're alive. That entire time I wanted control of my brain, my leg never stopped healing. My heart never stopped beating. My eyes, even though they were spinning out of control, still worked. It is not until we lose one of our most basic of functions that we appreciate the gift of our bodies in our life. That's when I needed to realize the BeUtoFullness, because we are all exactly differently the same. None of us are born with a brain as a foot or an arm as a heart, and we're all exactly differently the same. And that's when I realized we needed to do you. BeUtoFullness, you. You are the only you there will ever be. There will never be another person that looks like you. There will never be another person that has a place of influence that you have. You are the only you there will ever be. No one will look like you. Yet, we are all exactly differently the same. We are a combination of 7 face shapes, 3 skin tones, 5 body forms, and 3 hair types. Just like our primary colors make every color on the rainbow, you too are a formula that makes every single one of us that is completely, totally different, because we're all exactly differently the same. You're one of 7 face shapes. I want to tell you a story. It's about Jack. Jack came into my salon, and he knew his fullness. He was a professor and author and brilliant at what he did, but he did not know how to help this. His hair was long, his glasses were wrong, and his clothes it was wrong. And he had a friend that saw more in him. So that friend that saw more of him brought him in and says, "Tami, can you help?" I'm like, "I got this." So we sat in my chair and we started making Jack over. And as we were making Jack over, I watched him look at himself because we were changing him. And I saw that he didn't trust who he was becoming because I was lifting up his hair and taking off his glasses and changing his clothes. And he wasn't trusting his reflection. So I said, "Okay, Jack, here it is. If you get 1 compliment on this new look, that equals 1 more day of change. That means per compliment equals 1 more day of looking the way I'm helping you look." Before he left the shop, he had 2 compliments. I was set because I knew he was getting a lot more after the 2 days. You are one of 3 skin tones. You are either neutral, cool, or warm. That's it. We are all exactly differently the same. It doesn't matter how white, tan, brown, black you think you are. You are one of 3 skin tones: neutral, cool, or warm. You didn't pick it. You can't let it define you. You are one of 5 body forms. There's 5 of them. And trust me, I've been trying to tell my fat where to go for years. When I was a little girl, all my friends were developing a chest. And I'm like, "Oh, I want that. I was 12. It's kind of what you want." And I'm like, "Okay, so I can figure this out." And I was watching my friends, and the ones that were actually developing, I said, "So how do you sleep?" And they're like, "On our backs." I slept on my stomach. Hello? I was telling my fat to go here. I was so upset. So every night I would lay on the bed and I'd wrap my hands in the sheets and I would lay there wide awake because it was so uncomfortable. And every morning I would wake up and I was on my stomach. I knew it. I couldn't tell my fat where to go, and it frustrated me so. Anyways, and you're also one of 3 hair types. You either have thin hair, thick hair, or medium hair. You don't pick it. You cannot let it define you, because we are all exactly differently the same. You didn't choose your formula. And that's when I needed to know that we all needed to get to our 3rd step of this formula. That's 2. This one's the hard part. You need to accept you. You need to realize that digits are not definitions. Digits are numbers, a measurement. That number on that scale tells you, this is how much gravity I've put on this earth. Those years of life, that digit says, for 41 years, gravity has been pulling my skin down to the earth. And not only that, our income, Are those really definitions of ourselves? We need to allow ourselves to have proof of life. We need to embrace the differences that make us us. We need to love the fact that we have scars on our knees. Best gift ever. And then we need to forgive. So many times we want to blame that when we were 13 years old, someone picked on me. Or when we were 20, someone didn't see me. We need to forgive everything, including ourselves and our ideas of who we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do. And you need to let it go, set it free, and move forward. The thing is you are not who you were. And you are not where you're going. You are what you do. And now we come to fullness. Be you to fullness, because we're all exactly differently the same. See, fullness is you. Fullness is your weaknesses and your strengths and the things that actually make you you. So, remember my broken brain? Well, it's in my language center. And I actually could not have brain surgery because if they would have removed it, I would have lost one of my basic language functions, meaning I wouldn't have been able to read, write, or talk. But with that, I also read and write at a third grade level. And super tone deaf. So, with my fullness, when somebody said up to me and said, Tami, you can learn to sing. And I'm like, I can't learn to sing. I'm tone deaf. Like, no, anybody can learn to do anything. And that is so true. But it would probably take me 1,000 hours to learn to sing a song. One song might take my brain and my heart to be able to just sing that song. Or with that same 1,000 hours, I could do 500 choir members' hair and makeup and help them see their beautifulness as that they are. Then how many songs do I get? And how many voices do I get with my 1,000 hours? So many times we want to be everything to everyone. Trust me, I had a totally different plan for my life. I was going to be able to cook and sew and grow a garden. I can't do any of those things, but I can do hair and I can stand in front of an audience and I can believe in people and cheer them on. Those are my gifts and my talents. And sometimes people know our talents that we don't even know we have. Remember Jack? Well, he was an English professor, came to my chairs, maintaining his look, pretty proud. Not only that, he and I would have a constant argument. Jack would say, Tami, you're an author. And I'm saying, Jack, I am not an author. My brain is broken. And he'd say, Tami, you're an author. And I would say, Jack, I literally have to squeeze my brain when I type out my columns. I know that my truth about beauty is more important than my broken brain, but I am not an author. I've never even read a book. And he said, Tami, you're an author. And then he did it. He said, if you get one compliment on your columns, then that equals that you have to turn all your columns into my colleague English professor and write a book. Anyways, Jack was right. See, we are all exactly differently the same. You didn't pick your formula, but you can choose what you want to do with it. Choose to be more. Don't settle. Don't let yourself be hurt. So many times, we just want other people to fix us or find our more. But the truth of the matter is if I can send out one more beautifulness person out into the world, and then they can go into the world and give because they know who they are. They don't step in the world comparing and competing over their insecurities. They don't need other people. They don't have to compare and compete because they are one beautifulness whole. Be you to fullness because we are all exactly differently the same.